The idea of today is to express our solidarity and support to the people who was arrested already a year ago. He was very violently arrested by New Zealand police. These people have already been organizing to reclaiming their right to be free as a people. That's why around the world today it's a global day of action in Vancouver, in Canada, in New Zealand, and some part in Latin America, in Mexico too, and in Chile also some Mapuche community will express their support to other people. So it's actually some part of the action around the world.
I've been involved in the ongoing G20 Arrestees Solidarity Network, and we send a message of support to our brothers and sisters in Aotearoa who are facing these ridiculous charges. Obviously, we've got a kind of not exactly similar situation, but the use of anti-terror cops on activists who are involved in the G20. We're seeing the increasing use of anti-terror police against Indigenous movements around the world, and also the trial of Lex Watt for what was termed the Palm Island riot, which was a response of the Palm Island community to the attempt to cover up an Aboriginal death in custody, the 251st Aboriginal death in custody since the release of the Royal Commission report into deaths in custody in 1990. So this kind of stuff is on the increase, and I think it's really important that we fight back wherever we are. It's really good that people are here supporting people in Aotearoa, and we want to express the solidarity of the G20 crew and support network with those people, but we also want people to be involved in those struggles here and make sure that whenever the authorities attempt to lay this kind of shit on people who are fighting back in their communities, that wherever it is and whoever it is, we support those people. That includes Lex Watt when he goes to trial in Brisbane in October, and includes the G20 arrestees when they go to trial next year in June, because it actually is really important for people in Aotearoa to see, even if it is only a small group of people, that they do have support from different crews and communities all around the world, whether that's Mapuche people in Chile or it's us here in Melbourne. There's lots of crews around the world showing the support, and that's the kind of thing that actually helps people go through the really full-on process of being on trial, being interrogated. People have been locked up in solitary confinement, had their homes and communities raided, and it's the kind of support that people show by getting off their asses and coming to things like this that actually helps people get through that.
Now I would like to introduce you Tristan, who's been involved in a lot of solidarity with indigenous people in Latin America and a lot of stuff, and he also involved with the Mexican-Australian Solidarity Network, so I would like to leave with you Tristan.
So in Mexico, as in elsewhere in the world, capitalism as a system is collapsing. Too much exploitation, too much destruction of the environment. It's crumbling in a big heap. And the response that the Mexican state, supported by US and multinational companies, the response that they've got to this collapse is to take people who are trying to build another system, people in Atenco, people in Oaxaca, the Zapatistas who've got an alternative system that does work, and they're subjecting these people to paramilitary violence, throwing them in jail. People protesting at Atenco wanting to keep traditional farming practices instead of building a big jet airport. They have just been sentenced to 30 years jail. When they come out of jail, it's going to be much sooner than 30 years because the system's on the way out, but it's really important that we keep in solidarity with the movement there and that we are inspired by it and do stuff here in Australia as well.
My name's Greg. I'm from the Melbourne Anarchist Communist Group. I'd like to extend the solidarity of the Melbourne Anarchist Communist Group to the October the 15th because as far as we're concerned, this has got nothing to do with guns. If guns were the problem, then there'd be thousands of right-wing gun nuts behind bars. Instead, the problem is the government doesn't like the fact that the Tuho people of Aotearoa have never recognised the sovereignty of the colonists. The Tuho people of Aotearoa have never given up their own sovereignty. That is the problem. The New Zealand government cannot cope with that. The New Zealand government doesn't like the idea that people actually want to resist colonisation. Now, we in the Melbourne Anarchist Communist Group think that You don't have to agree with the strategies adopted by the October 15th arrestees to recognise persecution when you see it. And these people are being persecuted. We demand their freedom. We demand that the New Zealand government drop the charges. And as far as we're concerned, the same thing has to go as well for Indigenous activists in Australia who are being persecuted, like people like Lex Wotton, who's actually being persecuted because a cop shop on Palm Island got burnt down. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that is actually that's not a crime. That's an act of community renovation, and I think everybody should congratulate the people of Palm Island for demolishing that cop shop. The only problem is they've gone and rebuilt it again, bigger and worse than ever. But anyway, I'd just like to say that the Melbourne Anarchist Communist Group is standing in full solidarity with the October 15th arrestees, and we call on the labour movement around the world, in Aotearoa, in Australia, and everywhere else in the world, to stand up for the October 15th arrestees and to stand up for the rights of Indigenous people. Because when push comes to shove, it's the labour movement that has the power. It's the labour movement, the working class, that is able to force the capitalists to make concessions, that is able to force the capitalists to step back, and which will, one day, overthrow the whole bloody rotten capitalist system. Thank you.